Hi everyone, this is the Focus Spender, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my credit score. So a few months ago, I logged into mint.com and I noticed that my credit score had hit over 800. It was 802 to be exact, and I was so excited. So I wanted to share with you, a few tips on how I was able to increase my credit score over 800, but also just to talk about, does it even matter? But first, if you're new to my channel, I would love for you to subscribe. My channel is all about getting out of debt, staying out of debt, increasing your net worth, and organizing your finances. And if you want, you can also check me out at www.focusspender.com, where I have tons of budget tools, and you can also find me on Instagram and Twitter at FocusSpender. So let's go ahead and get started. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that I talk a lot about getting out of debt. I talk about investing, but I really don't focus too much on credit and credit scores. What I usually talk about, if anything, is making sure that you are reviewing your credit report just to make sure that you don't have any fraudulent activity. That has happened to me, where I found out someone had a phone bill in my name and they ran it up over $1,000, and someone rented an apartment in California once in my name when I was like 19, and I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't been checking my credit report. So it's very important that you check your credit report to remove any negative information that could impact you. But I usually don't focus on credit. Like I said, I do have a credit card, even though I followed the Dave Ramsey method to get out of debt. I kept my credit card, but I never really focused on the credit score. For years and years, my credit score was like between 750 and 790, and I didn't really do anything to push it above that per se. I just kind of figured, it's going to just keep increasing, and one day hopefully it'll get over 800. And surprise, surprise, it did. So how did that happen? So there are a few things. The first thing I want to talk about is the fact that I have a really long credit history. In 2001, I opened my very first credit card when I was a junior in college to buy a laptop. And back then, laptops were really expensive. So I wanted a laptop, then I bought a printer, and then I bought a zip drive, then I bought all these random accessories. And what else did I buy? I don't think I didn't buy like clothes or anything. I don't remember buying plane tickets, but it was just like a lot of computer and a lot of tech things. And by the time I graduated, my bill was over $3,000. And I was like, oh, this is not good. And I knew that canceling a credit card, even back then, I knew that it was not a good idea, but I figured, I wanted to cancel it because I did not want to use it anymore. I didn't want to be tempted. I didn't want it to be around. And also, I'm not sure if this is the case, but something in my head said, well, if I cancel the credit card, I won't get charged any more interest. I don't know if that's true or not. Someone could fact check me, and I'm not even saying that if you cancel your card, you won't be charged interest anymore, but that's what I thought. So I canceled the card, and then I paid off the credit card in about 6 months because I had the money. I just didn't want to pay off the bill when I had the credit card. It was weird. So I got rid of that credit card, and I was like, I'm never going to run up, credit card debt like that again. Thank God I haven't. But around that same time, I also opened a Discover card. Never used it. I don't even know if the card might have came, I think, but I never used it, not even one time. In like 2005, I opened a Sleepy's account to buy my mattress, even though, I had the cash. And at some point in college, or at the very end of college, I opened a Macy's card because I wanted 30% off, and I was going to buy a coat. So I bought the coat, paid off the bill, and then maybe I used the card once or twice since then. Once or twice after that, because Macy's eventually closed my account because I never used the card again. So all that being to say is I have a pretty long credit history going back to 2001. And that's really important if you want to increase your score. It's just the longevity of your credit history. So the second thing I want to talk about is making timely payments. It is so important that you're always on time with your payments. You do not want to be late because credit score companies are like your judgmental family members. They they're not going to look at you and say, oh, well, you made an honest mistake. You paid your bill late. They're looking at you like you're irresponsible with money. How could you have not paid this bill on time? Either you don't have a job, you're not allocating your money correctly. And so that is going to negatively impact you. In my whole credit history, I've paid my credit card bill late twice. And both times it happened, I was like a day late where I just missed the date on the calendar where I didn't realize, okay, today's the 30th, or, tomorrow's the 30th. I need to pay my bills a couple days in advance. So the very first time it happened, I called them right away. I was like, listen, the bill is due today. I'm paying it right now, but you're going to get it a day or two late. Can you waive the fee? Because at that point, I wasn't thinking about credit score. I was thinking, I don't want to pay this $35 fee. And so the very first time it happened, they waived the fee. The second time it happened, I called them and they were not trying to waive the fee, but they didn't report it anywhere, which was good. But the funny thing is, I didn't threaten to cancel the card this second time. The first time I think I did, but the second time I didn't because I had that credit card for so long. It was my oldest credit card, and my only credit card that I actually use. So I realized that if I had canceled it at that point, it really was going to hurt my score, and I wasn't going to hurt my credit score for $35. It was my fault that it was late. I paid it, I paid the fee, and then I moved on with my life, and I was like, I'm never paying a late fee on a credit card again. I'm never paying my card late again. But besides paying your credit card bills on time, you definitely need to pay your student loan bills on time as well. So I did a little bit of research, and your student loan, no matter how large it is, technically does not affect your score. It doesn't impact your score that much. But what does impact your score is if you pay your student loan bill late. So you definitely want to make sure that it's always on time. And I've never, during the whole time I had my student loans, I never once paid it late. So again, it's very important that you pay your credit and your student loan payments on time every single month, even if there's no fee. The third thing I did was to keep my overall usage of my credit very low. So let's say that when you add up all of your credit limits, you are at, $10,000. The credit agencies do not want to see that you owe more than $3,000 or 30% of your overall credit limit. So for me, I don't even have that much credit. I think because I only have one credit card that I actually use, and thinking about all of my other credit accounts, probably I have access to about $15,000 in credit. It's definitely not a lot. And I never, on the average month, I don't ever owe more than a few $100s. Last year, I bought a new computer and I bought it on my credit card, and it was like $1,800 or something like that. And I made sure that I had the cash. As soon as I bought my laptop, I paid it off right away. So that was probably like the largest amount I have owed on my credit in one single month in years, since probably 2002 or 2003. So you definitely want to keep your overall usage of your credit card low. If you're the type of person that has a bunch of store cards with little balances of like $300, just stop using those cards. You don't even need to cancel it, but you need to stop using it. One, because you're paying ridiculous fees in interest, but two, it's not helping. You really want to keep your balances really, really low overall. And the fourth thing is I don't open credit accounts very often. Maybe something will get open every few years maximum. So when you go to stores and they're like, oh, save 20%, save 30% if you open the store card today, that is impacting your credit score. You want to not open credit accounts too often. I know that people often say like one way to increase your credit score is to increase your overall credit limit. So then people will say, okay, let me just open up a bunch of cards really fast. That's really going to negatively impact your credit score if you're opening a bunch of cards all at the same time. So you want to limit it. And if you really want to increase your credit limit, as opposed to opening a bunch of credit accounts, the best thing to do is to call your credit card company, the one that you have the best history with, and just ask them to increase your credit limit. Talk to them about the fact that you pay your bill on time. And so that's probably the best way to increase your credit limit without just opening a bunch of cards, which is just going to hurt your credit score. So now I want to switch gears just a little bit and talk about, does this even matter? And the reason why I asked, does your credit score even matter, is because, I do come from the Dave Ramsey school of thought, where he's basically like, if you have the cash to pay for something outright, you have the cash to pay for a house, you have the cash to pay for a car, do you really have to worry about your credit score? And in his world, the answer is no. In my world and most other people's worlds, the answer is yes. You still want to have a good credit score. At least I want to have a good credit score, but I'm not going to kill myself to make sure that happens, because I know that everything else I'm doing, paying my bills on time, keeping my credit usage low, I know that that is going to make everything fall into place. And the reason why I also bring this up is that I know someone personally who has a tremendous credit score. Her credit score is almost 800, but she's still struggling to get out of debt. For a long time, she had a number of store cards that she used to use all the time. And, we worked together, and she was able to stop using those cards. She was able to pay them off. She has a long credit history. She pays her bills on time, even if she's only paying the minimum. So she's able to reap the rewards that way and getting the high credit score, but she's still struggling because she really wants to get out of debt. She wants to have more money to be able to save for a house, to save for a car, to provide for her children. And that high credit score, the only thing that it's doing is giving her more access to open another credit account. Like, what if she decided tomorrow, you know what, I have this high credit score, let me go just buy a car because I know I can get access to the money. But it's not beneficial to her, because she's still going to have a hard time paying a car note. Do you see what I mean? So I think really when you're focusing on the credit score and not your actual financial behaviors, you're not doing yourself anything good. You definitely want to focus on getting out of debt, paying everything down, paying it off in a quick, timely manner, paying it on time, and that high credit score is going to follow you. So that's that. If you like this video, be sure to click thumbs up, share it with your friends. If you have any questions, definitely comment below. Again, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at FocusSpender, and on my website at www.focusspender.com. Thanks. Bye-bye.